people fall up in here though. We're going.
A chick who like to suck dick and buy me shit. I knocked her off immediately. I told her all kind of shit. I ain't trying to sound petty. I need her all the way ready. Texas toast for a Cali nigga when I'm off the spaghetti. She gave me 10K, bro. I ain't even gonna hold you. I took her to Sephora, Magic Brow Butter Shampoo. I told her she should be throwing that ass in somebody's circle. Bring me the money respectfully, I'm trying to stay out of trouble. You will never see me sticking around waiting for no date to leave. She don't even know my name because I gave her a make-believe. Ain't no money better than some consistent hoe money.
She indicated GTA player, international show money.
Bitch, stop pump faking. Go make me some turkey bacon. When you get in front of them white folks, make sure that ass shaking. I'm all about my Chick-fil-A. The chick gotta pay to stay. She never got a phone charger. I think she a renegade. Oh yeah,
2024, you ain't giving up no more phase. You drop a grenade.
Chase a nigga with a baby K, I keep a bad bitch thirsty. You be buying her lemonade. I'm the young living legend, the San Diego superstar. She never got no money, but she always got a geek bar. Your motion ain't motioning, but always at the night show.
No more triangle, we at the Bellagio.
I need the money back, Sedio. Shout out to the 304s, I'm fit to lay down this audio and shoot this little video. I'm ain't gonna matter town. Bitch, I'm from Dago. Split your hair like the If she broke, then I'm adios. I keep a bad bitch thirsty. You be buying her lemonade.
That's what I'm not doing.
She never
got a phone charger. I think she a renegade.
Don't take my charger either.
I'm the
Young living legend, the San Diego superstar.
Better bet on it.
She never got no money, but she always got a geek bar. I keep a bad bitch thirsty. You be buying her lemonade.
So I just changed my.
She never got a phone charger. I think she a renegade.
What is this boy doing? I'm gonna let this shit run through. While I go smoke outside real quick. Still hear y'all though. Yeah, still can hear me. Oh gosh.
I just sent the ling ling back to Japan. Who don't give me both? Bet you gotta go. Some square nigga in the back saving hoes like Batman. Fuck nigga, who the fuck let this nigga in? I told that pretty black bitch go make it shake in Zimbabwe. TikTok, twerk your ass back to Africa, bitch. And that ain't no drip either. That's Balenciaga. Fuck is that? I seen that same t-shirt in Burlington. That ain't no B-long. Set her down on the track. Drop down, get her eagle on. I gotta make sure I get a bag, or nigga, I ain't going home. I ain't eating no hot pockets. I'm about to make sure my pocket's right. This burner will blow you up if I don't got my pocket knife. I got it out the mud, blood. I be eating on dirty rice. If you ain't got no passport, bitch, you can't spend a night. When you get in front of them white folks, make sure they money right. Bring me back the chicken. I don't want no lumpia. Bad bitches with money only. I don't do the oompa loompas. I check a trap from Oprah and give it to Jose. I gotta re-up, Cuddy, the American way, B. I just sent the ling ling back to Japan. Who don't give me both? Bitch, you gotta go. Some square nigga in the back saving hoes like Batman. Fuck nigga, who the fuck let this nigga in? I told that pretty black bitch go make it shake in Zimbabwe. TikTok, twerk your ass back to Africa, bitch. And that ain't no drip either. That's Balenciaga. Fuck is that? Bitch, you always on TikTok. You need to go clock in. I need them blue strips ASAP. I am not one of them. Break bread with the back end, or baby don't come back. I juiced her up like Jamba. When I talk, I get cash back. I cut her off quick too, if I found out she free swag. I gave the bitch away to GameStop for a PS5. She a ling ling from Dago, bought her titties in Mexico. I sent her back to Tokyo. Puton give me mo. I don't trust no nigga who say P with no hoe. Don't ever bring Africa around your Filipino. Now that bitch think she black P. Nigga, that's Bobo. This bitch ran off the track and went to the ghetto. I just sent the ling ling back to Japan. Who don't give me both? Bitch, you gotta go. Some square nigga in the back saving hoes like Batman. Fuck nigga, who the fuck let this nigga in? I told that pretty black bitch go make it shake in Zimbabwe. TikTok, twerk your ass back to Africa, bitch. And that ain't no drip either. That's Balenciaga. Fuck is that?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, cause these some nice ass tennis shoes.
What the fuck is them?
Hold up, what do they? Oh, I know, these are Balacananas. Balacanamas. Balacanalas.
Man, sign that shit out, yo.
Balacanamas. Oh, no, Balacalagia. Balacalagia. These must be foreign shoes.
Yeah, some foreign bitches.
Yeah, they from yeah, they from foreign. They
What
foreign
the bitch
shoes.
is black?
Huh? You worse than me.
You worse than that nigga, man.
You feel me? Some Dodie. Selling here, so I can't smoke in the house.
She at the extended stay, she can't stay with me. Boy, I'm at that age, you can't even play with P. I think the bitch is
Get it
still in
warm,
Vegas.
brother.
I'm on my way to the gym. She been gone for 80 days. I told her to bring me an M. Period. That's on the section, I'm serious. Attention all square bitches, out of pocket me curious. Cash at me the cheese, I don't want avocado. I sat her down by Petco, told her go look for Machado. Bitch, I'm from Dago, and I'm the new head coach. That part, I hit it right out the ballpark. Fashion Valley shopping, bitch. She ain't stealing from Walmart. No more picking and stowing. She stripping and going. I took his blue bear from him, and his dread stopped growing. I got this bag from the chick, this ain't that who you bank with. 4 Giottos on the Camaro with the super sport kit. I'm thinking I'm blessed, stay fit and get rich. Ching ching. I think the bitch is still in Vegas. I'm on my way to the gym. She been gone for 8 days. I told her to bring me an M. I think the bitch is still in Vegas. I'm on my way to the gym. She been gone for 80 days. I told her to bring me an M. Bring me back a meal ticket or the bitch can't bick it. A renegade with a moose wing, shit can get wicked. Bring me the bag respectfully, big money like Jeopardy. If you ain't got no money for me, you can't get the recipe. You can't even come next to me, I'm standing on business. Posting steering wheels at 2 a.m., nigga, you different. I'm Mandalay Twano, I put that on Dago. Stack my cheese like some Legos, on your head like an afro. 2024, we ain't fixing no hoes up. Get a job or get chosed up, turn it up and get froze up. 315, 6 plates, I can lift it up. No people give her money when they see her, she bad as fuck. Get a job or get chosed up, turn it up and get froze up. 315, 6 plates, I can lift it up. I think the bitch is still in Vegas, I'm on my way to the gym. She been gone for 8 days, I told her to bring me an M. I think the bitch is still in Vegas, I'm on my way to the gym. She been gone for 80 days, I told her to bring me an M.
Okay, we in there. All right. We finna get up in this. Only reason why I'm reacting to this is seeing San Diego get on, you know. I heard a lot of stories about Snow Rock, you feel me? Whew. But we in there like swimwear though. Let's get it.
No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today, very, very excited to bring you guys a conversation with somebody who I believe is a bit of a street legend. Definitely making moves on the internet these days. I actually got to shout out my man Donnie for tapping me in with you and telling me that I had to get you on the show. Snow Rock is in the building.
What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up?
How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm thrilled. This is big time, you know what I'm saying? I'm small time and now, you know what I'm saying, I'm getting called up to be on No Jumper. This is like big time for me. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just
What's going
feeling my
on?
way
What's
out. It's
going
all
on
new
with
to
the
me.
chat?
I
Just
don't wanna call
reacted
us
to
the
this.
big leagues because I got
San
respect for all
Diego,
the
you
smaller
feel me? It don't
platforms
matter
that
where
have
you're
helped,
from.
elevate
just
people
wanna
like you.
see
But
what's
for
happening,
sure, I
you
keep
feel
an
me?
eye on, what's going on with all
Tap
the
in
more
now.
local platforms that do their interviews in the park and shit like that. And so, I at some point I just watched it and I feel like the way YouTube is these days in terms of like what people want to see, they see somebody like you who's got a real strong personality and is just super authentic, and that's just catnip to the people out there.
one of the things I think I'm not braggadocious about it. I'm like, because Me personally, I don't think I did anything special. And all I did was what I was supposed to do. The only reason it's some specials because most didn't. Most folded up along the way or took the easier route. You know, it's always choices.
Right.
Some I don't know if I made the right choices, but you know what I'm saying? You know, I made some choices that made life harder for me.
I mean, it seems like you're in a very good place mentally at this point, though.
This is the best life I've ever been living. This is, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm married now. You know what I'm saying? I got a normal life.
Yeah.
You know, I got toys, you know what I mean? You know, I'm living my best life. I'm not balling. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm right now, I just had surgery, so I'm out of work.
Oh, what kind of surgery?
I had a rotator cuff.
That's a bitch, isn't it?
Yeah, well, coming back.
Yeah.
It's almost there, you know what I mean? Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, boss, doc say in 6 weeks, I might be able to go back to work, so the disability ain't paying that much.
Right. No, I had a slip up with that. I tried to put some guy in a guillotine choke in a fight one time, and that shit slipped out, and I just felt it, like, creaking for months afterwards.
The top one was totally torn, and the one in front was 3/4 torn. And I was doing physical therapy before they took the MRI, and my physical therapist was like, I don't see how you're doing the exercises you're doing with a complete tear.
Really?
But, you know, I've always been a can't stop, won't stop guy. You know, I broke my back in 2 places and driving a quad off the side of a mountain. And I came back to work 100%, 90-pound jackhammer, dig all day, you know, do whatever. You know, right now I'm fat. I've been living good.
Right.
Life is good, no complaints. Just trying to, you know what I'm saying, you know, keep the little YouTube thing going because they paying me now.
Right.
So I'm a hustler. So any hustle I can get, you know what I mean, I'm trying to jump in. I just converted my hustle to all legit.
Right.
To me, I got like I'm not sure it's anagram, analogy, or it's hustle. How you survive through life every day.
Oh, that's an acronym. But there you go. Yeah, I feel it.
So, you know what I'm saying? That's how you survive through whatever it is. You know what I mean? Some people hustle, you know what I mean? You know, they go and they mop a floor. When I got out of prison, I was like, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm tired of living in a box. I got to do something different. You want something different, you got to do something different.
But it's kind of crazy because if I had gone back to you when you were, you know, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, when you were first kind of getting into shit, and I had told you, hey, all this street shit, you could have a wife, a good job, nice little house, take care of your business. Do you think that would have been attractive to you at that young age, or do you think that it was too important for you to prove yourself and go through your hero's journey that you went through?
And I was
Hosting your Black Friday sale. Web hosting now from only $249 a month.
Oh, what's going
Epic
on with the
savings for a limited
YouTube
time.
people?
little, I wanted a reputation. That was all I wanted.
Right.
And now it's like I got it. My name, I'm like Bigfoot. Everybody heard of me, but nobody seen me because I've been stuck in a box for decades. Spent over 20 years in the California prison system from one box to another box.
Definitely.
So you get tired of it after a while. You know, if you have a chance, you know what I'm saying, man, you still got a couple marbles left. You got to do something different.
Right.
So I got out. I started doing things different. You know, I got a job, living my best life. You know, I work hard. I work for a really good company. They done a lot for me. They helped me because when I got out mentally, I wasn't all there. I was in a sober living because I needed a place to stay.
Right.
Didn't have no family left. But then after that, it was like I was struggling. I didn't know how to live. I couldn't sleep for the first 2 weeks because my cell door wasn't closed. And if you hear a dog bark, you know, I get to sleep for 10 minutes, dog bark, car drive by. You know, I'm not used to this.
Right.
So it took me.
When you compare, like normal suburban life might seem kind of boring to certain people, but when you compare it to something like being locked away in prison for 10, 20 years, you come away with a very different perspective. And I even can extend that to like, all right, last week, some guys that we know in the rap game basically got hit with a crazy ass murder indictment. I'm not gonna lie. Once I got done feeling like, holy shit, I feel for those guys. I hope they're all right. I hope they can somehow beat this. I was left with a little feeling of like, God damn, I'm thankful that I get to sleep in my bed with my wife tonight and play with my kid and not have to worry about that. I'm glad I didn't make those choices. Granted, I'm from a very different walk of life than the situation that led those guys to get into those situations. But, I mean, compared to being locked in that box, suburban life sounds
What's
pretty
going
good.
on, Chad?
Yeah,
Nigga,
no, you know what I'm saying? Because I like I
tapping
said,
in, seeing
like, I
some,
still
you know,
live
Snow
near
Rock,
my neighborhood.
legendary
It
guy
was, you know
that
what I'm saying, closer.
he got a
but
YouTube channel
the
out of
people
San
sold the
Diego.
house
You
that I
feel
was
me?
living in, so I had to
I'm just
move.
reacting to his
And it's
No
like
Jumper
everything is
interview. It's
going up
kind
in
of
San
surprising to
Diego.
see
I
him
don't
on
know
here,
about
but
up
hey,
here, but
you
everything,
feel
you
me?
know what I'm
That's
saying?
pretty
They charge
dope.
you
You
pay.
feel me? San Diego doing something. You
No,
feel
same
me?
here. Sometimes I'll mention
I salute
what
it.
rent I used to pay in Long Beach, and I've had people like laugh in my face, as in, absolutely, you're not getting a 2-bedroom for $1,200 out in Long Beach these days. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm very
What's going
disconnected.
on,
That was like
son?
10 years ago when I used to live out there, and I
What?
guess throughout the pandemic and all this crazy inflation and shit, that's just a memory now.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I want to own a piece of San Diego. You
I
know,
don't know
you
what
know what
the
I'm saying. You know, like
my son be
one of my
on.
homeboys,
He in that
Cricket.
talking
You know,
stage.
I don't know
You
if
feel
you
me?
ever heard of him, but he make music. He producer.
But hella,
He
man.
in one of his
I'm
raps,
just
he's
reacting
talking
to
about
this.
how
You
we
feel me?
claim the hood. We out there willing to die for the hood, but we don't own none of it. None of it.
Right. And you see that especially where there's like certain projects that are super famous for being associated with different hoods, and then that project will just get torn down and sold, and all those people who are claiming that neighborhood are just dispersed throughout the city, and I'm sure it hits some of the older dudes especially, like, damn, why the was I going so hard for this neighborhood when I didn't have any control or any say-so in the first place? So, okay, that's the thing that people I think are the most fascinated by. Take me through what your childhood was like, and what the situation was like for a white boy growing up in San Diego to get involved in all the shit that you got into.
Well, it started off rough. I come from a dysfunctional family. My dad was alcoholic. He had issues, but he didn't have a father. His dad died when he was 3. I've been through a lot, you know what I'm saying, you know, recovery and working on self and building myself to where I am now. And one of the things was my father, he was mean, and I took that on. A lot of people that really know me will be like, you know what I'm saying, you know, you're mean.
They can see it
Yeah.
when you're put in that position.
Well, that was Snow Rock.
Yeah.
Because Snow Rock was still trying to get a reputation, was still thinking he had to do all this just to be accepted or something. Now, I'm Joey. I mean, you know, and Snow Rock, I used to say that, well, growing up, we were talking about when I was a kid, I used to be White Boy Joey because there was a bunch of Joeys, right? So I was White Boy Joey. And White Boy Joey was the white boy that got picked on, got pushed around, got his stuff taken.
Right.
He got enough. It got to a point where that's it. And then Snow Rock came. And I used to say that Snow Rock killed White Boy Joey. But Snow Rock can't kill White Boy Joey. He's still a part of me.
Right.
And then Snow Rock, he didn't know how to act. So they put him in a cage. And then kept him in the cage for decades.
I'm just reacting.
And then when he got out, he didn't act right. He went right back.
Shout out to Snow Rock. I watch his YouTube channel.
They put him back in the cage. So now, I used to say I left Snow Rock in the cage. And Joey, the man, is who's here now.
When you say you were mean or people called you mean, do you think that was just a straight up defense mechanism for you? Or do you think that you were kind of mirroring your father's behavior?
I think I was using everything that I had at my, that's all I had. So, you know what I mean, you know, when it come to the prison and, you know, growing up, I got picked on. You know what I'm saying? I always say, you know what I'm saying, my homeboys, they helped make me who I am because they put me through. I had some homies that didn't want a white boy from their neighborhood.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, so I done had situations where I was 13 years old fighting grown men. And I was always big for my age, so it helped. But, you know, some battles, you know, I still lose, but I'm not going nowhere.
Was that you, were those kind of fights coming from you trying to be from the hood, or was that just you wanting to be outside, be out on the block, wanting to hang out and
Last thing, this is my name. I'm not going nowhere.
Right.
I remember, excuse me, I remember going home with a busted nose when I was a little kid. Mom, can we move, please?
Right.
Boy, we ain't got no money to move. Get your ass back outside and play.
Right.
I go back outside, and they waiting. What you doing back? I ain't got nowhere else to go. So, and that's how people got to know me.
Right.
Mm.
Definitely. At what age did you really realize that there was, that the area you were from was associated with a gang, and was it kind of obvious to you right away that you wanted to be associated with that?
It was as soon as we moved to the hood, literally, my next door neighbor, it was Baby Bull Capone, rest in peace right now. And 2 doors down, well, right next to him, 2 doors down from me, was OG Grady and John. They was from the hood. You go the other way, you have Tone Loc, and then his brother Keith, and then they was from the hood. And then 2 doors from me on the other side is the twins, Joey and David. And these is all
Right.
main, I grew up on C Street.
Mm-hmm.
And that was where everybody, because everybody was right there. And so I'm right in the middle.
Definitely. Was it a possibility for you to just be like,
You want more
all
milk?
right, I'm not going to be associated with any of the street shit. I'm just going to be a regular
Yeah.
ass, non-affiliated white dude. Or,
Just
would
wait,
you have been
okay?
able to go that path?
I don't even
No.
know. You know what I'm saying? All I know is
Yeah, drink that.
what I've dealt with and how I dealt with it. I don't know. I can't really say how it was. Could have been, should have been, or would have been, because all I know is my path.
Right. And so, okay, like how long did it take before it felt like these dudes really started to accept you? Like by what age had you earned enough respect that they took you in?
You know what I'm saying? All the way from the beginning, I had the community raised me. You know what I mean? Like I said, the community took me in. I had an auntie who was the lady who lived behind me, where my mom was, two behind us next door. It was duplexes. And the lady, you know what I'm saying, she took me in. That was Aunt Carol, but she was the neighborhood auntie. You know what I mean? She got her own demons. She was dealing with her own issues. But she was, you know what I'm saying, the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, came over and hung out. And she was with the business. She was, you know what I'm saying, active in, you know what I'm saying, stuff, the illegal business that went on here and there. She did what she had to do to survive. Her husband was incarcerated. And I remember being in the living room, I had a chair by the TV. That was my spot. And there'd be people, you know what I'm saying, wrapping up stuff to take to the prison, packages of drugs to take to the prison. And I'm like, whoa, people don't even know I'm here because I'm behind the door. This is my spot.
Right.
They had a lot going on, and I watched it all like, wow.
Was your perspective more like, this is normal? Or were you kind of in shock, like, whoa, like, you can sneak drugs into a prison? Like, do you remember?
I'm a little kid, so my big thing is I'm just waiting for the weed tray
Right.
that's under the love seat. When no one's around, I'm going to go take a doobie off of the weed tray and go out back.
Right.
And that's all I was thinking about.
Right.
But I'm aware of, you know what I'm saying, it's people, you know what I'm saying, with addictions. My auntie had an addiction, and she, you know what I'm saying, functioned. She did what she had to do to take care of,
Was it a environment in which you, as like a somewhat impressionable kid, that they were having you go do things that they didn't necessarily want to do themselves?
Well, not really, because like my auntie, she tried to take care of me. She tried to, keep me, you know what I'm saying, safe as much as she could. She couldn't take me in. She was taking care of herself, but I stayed at her house most of the time. And, one thing led to another, and then I got to doing my own thing. And I'm selling drugs. And, my homeboy, when I was 13, my dad put me out. He's like, look, you can stay right here. All you got to do is sell this for me.
Right. Do you remember, like, how exactly you got into selling drugs, though? Like, was that a big leap, or was it just a natural transition because you were already around it?
I was all around it. I remember being when it was ether base. I remember people, you know what I'm saying, with the Bacardi 151 and a hanger with a cotton ball dipped into the Bacardi and lit to light the glass pipe. Hey, you want something? I don't want nothing. I'm trying to roll a joint. You know, I'm cool. I was scared. I ain't never messed with crystal, cocaine, heroin, none of that. Now I had me some. I used to smoke PCP.
Really? When you were real young, or?
Yeah, well, the first time I took a doobie that wasn't weed
Yeah.
and got stuck, and I came down with a 2x4 from the back railing of the back porch, and I'm sitting on the couch. They had to take the board off because I was locked onto the board, just stuck.
Whoa, really?
And
That's
pouring milk.
But you weren't tempted to keep going crazy with it from there? Because I know some people who start the PCP and all of a sudden they spend a couple years in the crib doing nothing, just freaking out.
Yeah, but that's the thing, you know what I'm saying? It messes with you. And that's the thing. I had a bad experience because I was fresh out of juvenile camp. And then I came back to the hood, and the homie had some fire called gorilla piss. So he had some serum. So, you know what I'm saying? We dipped two. We only smoked one. I don't remember what happened. I woke up at home in my bed, butt naked.
There a bad hangover from PCP?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. No,
You don't like wake up feeling horrible?
it was so long ago. I
Yeah.
remember. But I wake up naked with some blood on me, and then I come to find out, you know what I'm saying, you know, like, what the hell going on? So I get up, wash up, you know what I'm saying, you know, I go to the homie house later that day. I'm walking down the street, and people like, you know what I'm saying, you know, at the barbecue point and laughing. What the hell they laughing? You know what I mean? So I walk on to the homie house. I get to the homie house, and I open up the gate, and his mom comes to the door because she sees me coming. Nah, I told you, don't bring your white ass over here no more. And I'm like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? Then the homie came out looking like Elephant Man.
Right.
And threw my clothes at me.
You would beat his ass that bad?
Well, I don't know what happened, but I got shermed out, took my clothes off, and then beat him up because he was tripping on me because I took my clothes off. I don't remember none of this. I wake up at the house the next day.
Holy shit.
After that, I'm done.
You were done after that, really?
Because no, you know what I'm saying, in my neighborhood, I'm the only white boy.
Right.
And now I done got butt naked and walked through the set. So it was some homies that clown me about that for some years.
Right. And as a white dude, you don't want to get put into the bucket of psycho, drug addict, weirdo type activity, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the PCP could get you there pretty easily. Yeah. So, okay, you shot somebody when you were 9?
Well, that, you know what I'm saying, when somebody broke my mom's jaw.
Okay.
Because we were the only white family over there, so people didn't like it.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying, you know, at the time, I didn't understand. But through the dealing with how everything, the people, you know what I'm saying, you know, our families got tight, you know what I mean, you know, but in the beginning, when we first moved over there, they was tripping because we was white. My dad was fighting with one guy, and then the other brother, you know what I'm saying, you know, and his mom and his uncle were 2 doors down on their property, and my dad is fighting in front of the house on the ground with his brother. And then my mom comes out to the fence. We got a little chain link fence about yay high around the yard, and we come out. My mom comes out to the fence and said, "Bitch, why don't you just leave us alone?" Because his mom is the one, you know.
Right.
So because my mom called his mom a bitch, the other dude hit my mom.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll make a 9-year-old go get the strap.
I have no other, you know, and that helped the reputation, believe me, you know what I'm saying, because there's a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, leave that crazy white boy alone.
For sure, that's the start of a reputation right there.
Leave that crazy white boy alone.
You knew the gun was in your house, but had you ever thought about grabbing it before that or no?
I've shot it before.
Oh, you already had?
Yeah, it was a rifle. It was my uncle's. You know,
Shot with a rifle?
Yeah, I had to go get it out of the attic.
Right.
And when I pulled it down, the box broke and everything, bullets and everything went everywhere. So the clip that goes in it is like I think 3 or 6 round clip. I'm not sure, you know what I'm saying, but I can't put that in because I don't know where it's at. So I'm just putting in one shell, running out, boom, run back in the house, go get another bullet.
So you did this a couple times before you hit the guy?
First time, the second time I missed.
Oh, really? Where'd you hit him?
In the leg.
In the leg.
Yeah.
And was this just like an immediate explosion? Like it's already a crazy fight, but then you do that and it's just...
Oh, yeah, because...
I can't even imagine.
But now, you know what I'm saying, I don't remember, you know, I was a little kid, I was crying. So I remember my dad taking the gun from me and saying, help me to go get mommy.
Yeah.
So my mom is asleep on the grass, side of her jaw. The jaw broke. So it's turning purple.
Damn.
So the police pull up because we're right across the street from the police pistol. You better not be shooting them.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? You know, come right over. When they come, my dad got this rifle. And they draw down. I'm a little kid. Neighbors come out and they get my dad. And the neighbors come out and say, it wasn't him. It was him. And I'm like, you know, I'm 9 years old. I'm going to jail. So all I got was like summary probation.
Okay. Yeah, because what the
Okay,
are
then
you
come
gonna do
here.
with a 9-year-old? Like, I don't. Normally, you can't really charge a 9-year-old with anything, right? But then I guess if they shoot somebody, it's like you gotta do something.
Yeah, hey,
Did you? So you just basically went back to normal life after that?
no.
Oh,
No, it was years. Our families, like I said, our families got tight. And one day, you know what I'm saying, you know, because I told my mom I was going to kill the dude, you know, and then, you know what I'm saying, you know, one day, you know what I'm saying, when I was selling, you know what I'm saying, you know, I'm out on the block, it's late night, nobody around. A dude, you know what I'm saying, he was the older homie, now he's a crackhead, and he's coming to buy something. I couldn't do it. I put the barrel in his mouth and cocked it. I couldn't do it because our families had got so tight.
okay.
His nephew was like one of my best friends. We used to build model cars growing up. Our families got tight, so I still wanted to.
So part of you, like even just picturing my mother with a broken jaw, makes me feel like, oh, I could almost do anything, if that was what sparked this off.
Yeah, it was. I'm glad I
It's
did.
good you had that self control.
Glad I did.
A lesser man would have jumped out the window. Yeah. Damn. Okay. So when did you? I'm trying to like keep track of like a bunch of different crazy incidents that I've heard you mention on other podcasts and stuff like that. But at some point, you broke or you attacked the vice principal at your school. Was that around the same age?
7th grade.
So that's 7th grade. So fast forward a few years.
Yeah, this is before I got kicked out of Gompers because Gompers is junior high, so my right in the hood.
Right.
So it's a known school, and it was during school I was ditching, and I had went out to the park because my neighborhood park is Gompers Park. That's 47 Park.
Right.
So we used to go out, hang out with the older homies that's out there. Maybe let me hit the beer, you know what I mean, you know, whatever, and go back in, go to school. So we go out there, hang out as much as we can, and I was coming back from ditching, but I was out at the park and wasn't nobody around. It was just me. It looked like somebody pulled into the park, like, you know what I'm saying, it was some blood, so I dipped into the school. And, you know what I'm saying, I went into the bathroom. So I'm in the bathroom, and now I just got chased, I feel. But, you know what I'm saying, it was probably just a car, and I was just, you know, being spooked. So I'm in the bathroom with somebody. I turn around, I fire on, I don't know who it is, but I figured, you know, they got me. So I better hit him, and there's the principal, the vice principal. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I take off. I go to my locker, take my jacket off, put on the sweatshirt, try and change up, go to my next class. 10, 15 minutes into the class, the monitor comes in, hands the teacher the note. Mr. Patuka, I need you in the office.
So what was the punishment for that?
Oh, no, that was it. That was it. When I came out, they had school police on both sides because you got to walk to the gate, and you're not going nowhere.
Oh, okay.
Because I already got caught with a switchblade, and you know what I'm saying? There's always, you know what I mean, you know, fights because, you know, there's the little African Bloods. They got to come over here for junior high.
Okay.
We got to go to Lincoln for high school. So it's...
So this is back in the day. Was it as simple as Crips versus Bloods in San Diego at that time?
Yeah, in San Diego, the Crips don't really get out
with each other.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's been rare occasions on bullshit, but you know what I'm saying? We try not to do that because we're outnumbered like 5-1 already.
Right. Yeah. And okay. So just generally speaking, because there was an incident maybe like 4 years on this podcast 4 years ago where somebody said something about San Diego being soft,
Here Adam
which
go with this
ignited a shitstorm of a lot of different San Diego residents, basically making the case of like, nah, like it really goes down out here too. Don't put that description on our city.
Well, you got to look at it. San Diego is a tourist town.
Right.
So if you tell people that the gangs and all this stuff is out here and active and doing this, then they're not going to want to come. So they're going to lose money. So, I remember J.O. Felony was trying to do videos in San Diego. They wouldn't let him film anything in San Diego.
Really?
You know why? I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? But San Diego has to keep an image, and we can't.
Facts.
White people,
Right.
they're going to come and spend.
Definitely. I mean, honestly, it's like any other city where it's like you can go to the touristy-ass areas and you would probably have no clue that there's some bullshit going on. It's like that in L.A. It's like that in New York. You go to Manhattan, and it's like it don't really seem like there would be all kinds of crazy shit going on there. It's in the neighborhoods. It's in the projects. It's always like that. Right. Okay, so you get kicked out of that school, and then you just have to switch to another school? How does that work?
First one, Pops kicked me out.
Oh. I thought your dad kicked you out
13.
because you knocked him out.
Yeah.
Oh, that was because of that.
No, that
Oh.
was afterwards. Then that happened, and it's like, you know what I'm saying, why do I have to go to school?
Right.
But I educated myself during my incarcerations. My first time in prison, I got my GED. My last term in prison, I got I think I need like four more classes to a degree.
Uh-huh.
So I'm in there. I have to be here. So I'm got to get something for it. Might as well, So I was trying to do something.
Right, definitely. So, okay, what leads to that confrontation with your dad, though, where you end up beating his ass?
Was alcoholic, and he hit the family.
Right. And then finally you, like, stood up for yourself and...
No, we fought several times. Usually I just lost.
Okay. But it was a straight-up fight.
Well, yeah, we had him before.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying, I remember one time, you know what I'm saying, he stopped because I tripped over, we had like cases of the Springfield soda. And he hit me and I fell over that. So that's when he stopped. He stops, you know what I'm saying, I don't want no problems. I'm a little kid.
Right.
And it got to the point one time we was fighting in the kitchen and what happened? I'm dazed. I done been hit. Why is he laying down back there?
Right.
So
So you just go to your room and then...
I thought it was over because usually when I get whooped, you know what I'm saying, go to your corner, he's going to go to his bottle and, you know what I mean?
But did you make sure that he was all right, or you just left him incapacitated on the ground?
Sleeping on the kitchen floor.
As a grown-up, I think of that like, oh, wow, that's a scary proposition because you never know if you could have maybe not woken up.
Oh, no, at that time, I really...
It wasn't a big concern, yeah. Okay, so when do you find out that you're kicked out of the house? The next morning?
No. When he woke up, a few minutes later, he woke up, got his consciousness back. Then he went and got the 45.
Right.
And get your ass out.
Wow.
And Mom can't do nothing, or she's going to get whacked. So, you know what I'm saying? I remember my first night, I tried to stay, we had a clubhouse in the canyon and the bamboo trees.
Right.
And all those cardboard and old carpet on the ground. And this was a clubhouse. I tried to sleep in that shit. At nighttime, all the bugs come out.
Right.
And I fell asleep in there and woke up covered in just, oh, man. That was bad.
Sleeping outdoors seems simpler than it actually is in real life, huh?
I love camping.
Yeah.
But this wasn't it.
Holy shit. So where do you end up staying after that?
On the streets. That's when, you know what I'm saying, they got to, you know what I'm saying, I'm garage or whoever stay the night with whoever I can. And the homie, like, you know what I'm saying, got the dope house and, you know what I'm saying, he like, look, you can stay here. Just sell this for me. But he didn't use me. You know what I mean? He could have just, you know what I'm saying, worked me and not, you know what I'm saying, taught me. But he taught me the game.
Right.
So by the time I'm 14, I got so much dope I can't sell because I got to sell his dope first.
Right.
And now mine is getting stuck in a jam in the back because his has to be sold first. It's his place.
So he's giving you X amount per day?
Well, yeah, I get a cut for, you know what I'm saying, selling this much.
Right.
So my cut sits until his is gone, and then I sell mine. And then I stack up my money, and then he goes to re-up, and I put in with him. So now I can't get rid of all this. And he's like, man, look, get your own apartment. How the hell I'm going to get my own apartment? I'm 13. He's like, man, get that crackhead to put it in his name. Give him a money order to pay for it. Give him, you know what I'm saying, a little hit, and he'll do whatever you want him to do. Sign whatever you want him to sign.
Wow.
So, we had scanners, you know what I mean? We thought we were high tech.
Right. Because I'm thinking, sometimes I see people talking about how difficult it is to get an apartment these days and all the background checks and Google searches and all this crazy shit that they got to go through. So it's pretty hilarious to picture like a 13-year-old kid taking a dope fiend and making him do it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Money talks.
Yeah, definitely. Holy shit. But, okay, so you had your own spot at 13?
Yeah.
And would you say that you're running a tight ship, or are you letting all kinds of bullshit go on here?
No. You know what I'm saying? This was business. This was the spot. You know what I mean? This is how I survived. You know what I mean? When the house got raided, I wasn't there.
Mhm.
I was on the block, because as a youngster, you know what I'm saying, I was on patrol.
Mhm.
So, you know what I mean? Because I was the white boy, I was the one, where somebody sees, white boy Joey, go get white boy Joey. White boy Joey, get him. And if I don't get you, they don't get me. So
So what, you had the best hands out of the group, or?
No, I got beat up a lot.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I learned that, it don't hurt until the next day. So I don't have to worry about getting hit. I'll take that. You know what I mean? Just let me hit you.
Right.
And that's the thing, the homies, I remember standing toe to toe, when you fight, you got to stand toe to toe and just, ain't no, like, you know what I'm saying? You got technical fighters that'll, duck and dodge and run from you and wear you out and take advantage of you. I'm just coming. I'm bringing everything I got because I'm trying to hurt you so you don't hurt me.
Right.
And that's my only goal.
Right. If you had been able to live it all over, do you think that you would have had, or like, if you had been born 30 years later, you think you might have become like an MMA fighter or something? You think you would have been able to channel all that energy into something else?
I played football as a kid. I had a guy, dude, he was, he was like a blood. I guess he stopped banging and, got his life together and had some kids. He was in my neighborhood and took me in, and he had a college scholarship and got a girl pregnant and ended up not going and having to go to work construction. So messed up his life. So he wants me to go to Lincoln at Lincoln High School and play football because I'm fresh out of juvenile camp. I've been on the obstacle course, on the weights. I'm already big, and in Campo I had a growth spurt. So I was always chubby, and that chubby just got tall.
Yeah.
And so, now I'm a beast, and you know what I'm saying? I'm fighting whoever. Line up. That was the only way the homies was going to let it go down, because the homies, you know what I'm saying, back in the day, fighting was how you got in. You know what I mean? Everybody, you know what I'm saying, is going to get down at one time or another. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the ones that couldn't take it, I remember it's a homie that used to give me the balls when I was a kid. And now it's like I look back and it's like he chased a bunch of people off. So that was his job.
Right.
I didn't go.
Do you think, like, being white, was it a detriment? Because, if they're looking for the white dude who just did a crime, pretty easy to spot you out of the neighborhood. Or was it good?
They come straight to my house.
But you could also kind of like plausibly pass as a law-abiding citizen a little bit easier, maybe, but you didn't really have that vibe about you.
No. Look, I had a Jerry curl.
What?
Back in the 80s, I had a Jerry curl.
I don't think I've ever seen a white Jerry curl.
I got pictures.
Oh, wow.
Well, really, okay, white people, they get a perm in their hair, and
Right.
that makes it curly.
Yeah.
Right? So I got a white people perm the first time and just put curl activator and moisturizer in it and had a drippy curl.
Wow.
The next time, one of my play cousin I was raised with, my auntie I just told you about, her son, he was getting his hair done, and his beautician was like, oh, I could fix you up. I'm like, you can't use those chemicals on my head. She's like, yeah, I can. You just don't need the relaxer. Your hair's already relaxed. So it's free. So I let her do my hair, and it came out bomb. So TCB.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I'm trying to figure out the timeline here, but so you're in camp at this point, but like, what kind of stuff were you getting locked up for around that time?
Oh, well, first offense was the assault with a deadly weapon.
Right.
In the fence, I robbed a house,
Oh, okay.
and I was 11. But older kids talked me into climbing in the window.
Did you have?
Stole some burritos out of the refrigerator, and a phone, and a calculator.
So you weren't really sure what to take.
I was a little kid. They talked me into doing this, and then I'm looking for food, and they're looking for money, and I don't know what's going on, and then they're running out, and I'm running after them, trying to grab something.
Right.
So just grab something.
Mm-hmm.
And people see us. We live on 1 block over.
Oh,
All of us live 1 block over.
Holy shit! How'd you get caught? They told the cops.
Everybody.
They searched you and found all the shit.
Yep.
Wow.
So so that was my second offense. So that was when juvenile hall, and then I got out on house arrest, and they had the little ankle monitor, and I had to talk into a thing, a voice checks or something like that. I'd wait until late at night, take Pop's car keys, push the car down the hill because Pops had an old Dodge Dart. I had to push it down the hill and start it and let it run for 20 minutes before it warmed up enough for me to drive.
Really?
It was a bucket. But I'm a little kid, and all I'm doing, I'm going to the alleys, and it's a dirt alley. I pull into the dirt alley, and I get the back wheels on the dirt, and just peel. And I get to the end of the alley, and I pull out, and I go down another street, do it again. Go by the club, Dad's, where everybody hangs out at. I ain't got no shoes on. I'm a little kid driving. Hey, man, give me a ride down here. All right, man. And then, here I am. I turn the car off around the corner, let it coast down the hill, and pull it right into its spot.
So you just wanted to be outside. You were just trying to have some cheap thrills.
I'm a kid.
Yeah.
I'm trying, but so I got caught for that, and then Pop said I hit him. So that was
And that didn't get you in prison though, right?
No, that sent me to juvenile camp. Okay. Camp for me was like, best time, fun time, because I could be a kid. And I ended up going to camp twice, but up there was other kids and you could be a kid, every now and then you might have to fight or something. But, even when I first got to camp, I remember, the second time I got there, as soon as I got there, I got into it with the biggest bloods that was in camp. Because he banged on the homie, and because I came from court, so I had court clothes. The homie, he's all blued up, so the dude banged on him, and I banged back, and dude like, what is this? Boy, so he found out.
Did you feel like in situations like that you were constantly kind of having to prove yourself because people just assumed from the color of your skin that you weren't gonna be a threat?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I felt like if I lost a fight, more people are coming. If I don't, put my all, and I'm, I've been in fights where I remember in prison as Nazi lowrider, dude named Oak Tree, 6'6", red hair, swastikas, big old. And hit me in the back of the head while I was taking a piss. Couldn't give me the fair one, try to dope feed me.
Right.
And still, couldn't do nothing. Then the police got involved, because once you fight and making noise, push the button, here come the police. So we ended up going to the hole. Then when I came back, I knocked out the shot caller in the day room, and the police seen it.
The white shot caller?
Yeah, the Nazi lowrider shot caller.
Okay. And so when you're getting locked up, is it more likely for you to have beef with like Bloods, or is it more likely for you to be beefing with these Nazis?
That's the thing, it's the whites. Ever since I was a kid, everybody was telling me, boy, don't ever go to prison. Them white boys gonna kill you.
Really?
So when I came to prison the first time, I thought, I went from level 1 to level 4, to level 3. I paroled from Corcoran in 94, but I only stayed out 7 months. So I came right back, and now I got 9 years with 80%, so I'm level 4.
Whoa.
And I went to Lancaster, and as soon as I hit the yard, it was, I'm here. Look, anybody one-on-one? Because my homies, I told my homies, look, as long as it's one-on-one, I got this. You know what I mean? Don't let them jump me. Watch behind me. One situation, they tried to get me. Dude hit me. I got stabbed behind the ear. I got 6 stitches. I was laying down in the grass like this, and we was watching the basketball game. Now, this is the black area.
Man.
Whites and Mexicans don't come through this area. A white dude comes through. He's the hitter. There's some other Crips, some East Coast Crips behind us. And me and the homie from West Coast right here. And they see the white boy going through the crowd, and they making a joke. Look, that white boy said, he'll whoop your ass. He's joking, with the homies.
Right.
But they see the white boy.
Can you just get a little closer to the mic, sir?
And they're like, oh, cuz, they just hit Snow. Because the dude hits me and cuts. So I thought he socked me. I don't know, I'm bleeding. So I chase after him. And when I do, this is the plan to get me away from the blacks. The other Nazi lowriders are coming. And I don't know. But the East Coast Crips that was behind me, they jumped in. It was even a blood. It was a youngster. His name was Posse from Swan. And he got down. It was a Samoan from SOS. It was 3 East Coast Crips, a Linwood neighborhood. Just people seen it was cracking and just cracked off. And the white boys that tried to get me got cut off.
Really?
And the dude that stabbed me, I got 6 stitches. He got 13. I ended up slamming him on his face and he hit the curb.
Was it constantly like that, where you were just dealing with white people who were pissed off about you choosing to affiliate that way?
Well, that's the thing. When I knew it was coming, I knew my homeboys, had been telling me. And I had one homeboy, I used to think he was trying to punk me out. Like, man, you know what I'm saying? Just when you go to prison, just go over there with the white boys. Just tell them you don't bang and you'll be all right. I'm like, man, you think I'm a punk? You think you know what I mean? And I was mad at him. And then later on, it took me a long time to realize he cared. He was one who really cared. He didn't want me, you know what I mean, to die. And it was, it's been a couple times. I've been stabbed here. I've been stabbed here.
In retrospect, though, would that have been too much of a compromise of your morals to just act as if you weren't from where you're from?
That's what I couldn't do that.
Yeah. Because
that's the whole point. I wanted a reputation in my neighborhood. It wasn't for nowhere else. I just wanted the people in my neighborhood to know this is, you know what I'm saying, Crip stands for Community Revolution in Progress. I'm part of the community now. Now I'm doing active, community stuff, trying to do some positive stuff.
Right.
Because, that bullshit, it ain't about nothing. I don't want to see none of my homeboys and go to jail and do life, and I got too many of them in there now.
Right. I interviewed this dude, Garrett, who at one point was basically like a shot caller, skinhead, Peckerwood prison dude.
6'6".
Yeah, huge. Yeah. He basically told me that from his prison experience, and I realized because I saw a lot of comments disagreeing with him that every prison's different and there's different norms all over the place. But he basically said, because I was asking him, because I know some white bloods out here and shit, and I was like, what about a dude who's been banging blood for 10, 15 years, and then he gets locked up in prison? Does he have to roll with the whites too? And he basically said yes, or his life's going to be hell. Realistically, dudes are going to be on him, constantly making it an issue. From your perspective, it was basically like that. It never really evened out where everybody just kind of gave up and just let it go.
Even when the best time I ever did was at Donovan, and I did 8.5 years at Donovan straight, but that was the best time I ever did because Donovan had a lot of money. It was a PIAR, Prison Industry Authority, so you have money-paying jobs, and that provides money. Once inmates have money, what are we going to do?
Buy drugs?
That's the thing. Donovan, I was in Donovan for 8 years, so at one point I was bringing in a 1/4 pound of weed every week.
Oh shit!
2 ounces Saturday, 2 ounces Sunday. And once a month, I bring in an 8-ball just to, cover the female that's bringing its rent.
Holy shit. And so were you making a lot of money while you were in there or just able to live well?
No, I was doing good. I was putting money aside that the female didn't know about because I met her. I put an ad in the paper. Lonely man incarcerated, looking for love, name and address, nothing else.
And that worked. Hey, if it works, it works. You hear a lot of these stories about guys who will find a girl that kind of hold them
Yeah,
down
I
while they're
think
locked
they
up. And
audio
a lot of
messed
times then
up.
they'll explain to me, actually there's a dude from Sacramento, X-Rated, who did like 20 plus years for a murder that he was associated with. And he's kind of breaking the story down to me. And I'm realizing, like, so this woman that you were basically dating for 15, 20 years, as soon as you got out, it was over. He's like, yeah, she didn't really understand. She couldn't really relate to my life. I'm like, holy shit, what a time for you to figure out that your lives weren't going to work out together.
No, because she told me she didn't even have the paper delivered to her house. Paper came and she got the paper by mistake. See my ad, wrote, asked if she'd come visit me. I sent her a visiting form, the first letter. Fill this out. Get this approved, then you can come up here. Once she came up here, she explained to me the whole situation. She's in her husband and her son were locked up for molesting her granddaughter.
What?
She knew about it. She's mad that her other daughter won't let her see her granddaughter anymore. I'm playing along like, oh, we're going to work it out, but she's telling me she's getting evicted and ain't got no place to live, and they're going to take the minivan. And both husband and son, they paid all the bills. Now what is she supposed to do? Call this number, tell him Snow said he needs it wrapped and ready to go.
Right. Holy shit. How long did that relationship last?
I cut her loose right before I came home.
Right.
About 3.5 years.
And she never got in trouble either. No. Wow, so that's pretty good deal overall.
Well, you know what I'm saying? That's the thing. She was, got her, talked her into getting a job, and she was, at first we was using the money to cover bills. Okay, that place is too big. You better find another place.
Do you have any kind of regret over that? Or any kind of guilty conscience about that? Or is that just how it goes? Yeah. Wow, I like it. Okay, so wait, so when you went to prison, that was because of what again? I'm kind of getting the stories jumbled up a little bit. Your first like long bid, or
my first term was armed robbery.
Right.
I robbed a drug dealer who came to court and said I stole the drugs he was selling out his house.
Right, which is like the reason why people rob drug dealers is because they feel like they're not going to be able to go do that exact thing. But he felt comfortable doing it regardless?
Yes, it was ridiculous. This case, it's documented, everything, but it's so crazy because the dope man and his girl said 3 black people with ski masks came in with guns, with Uzis, and robbed them. Another guy came up to buy something. He got put into the robbery by the 3 black guys with ski masks. He said he saw a white guy out front. He gets up on court and said, yeah, you see the man in the courtroom? He's like, nope. He's like, well, didn't you pick somebody out in the photo lineup? Yeah. Who was that? The guy the police told me to pick. I should have, if I had a real lawyer, I would have went home that day.
Right.
No.
The public defender didn't pick up on what was going down?
So now the drug dealer says, yeah, they came in with Uzis, with banana clips. The DA brings in a Uzi, a 9mm Uzi, to show the jury, all you're doing is making us look bad. You know what I mean? So I'm like, get a gun specialist. I had literally threatened my lawyer. If you don't, get a gun specialist. The gun specialist comes, it's impossible for this gun to take a banana clip. I'm a gun specialist. It's not possible. Put a dope man back on the stand. He's lying. You got him lying. So how can you believe him saying this other stuff? So,
right.
So now they have to link me. So they get the dope man's girl to get up on the thing. And she says, who was the first person to come in? Black guy, ski mask with the gun. Second guy, black guy, ski mask and the gun. Third guy, black guy, ski mask and the gun. Who was the fourth person? Oh, that was the white guy. Wait a minute. In the police report, you didn't say nothing about the white guy. In the preliminary report, you didn't say nothing about a white guy.
Right.
But now you remember a white guy because you have to link me to the crime.
Right. And so you end up doing...
They find me guilty.
For how many years you end up doing for that?
They gave me 4.
Okay.
I ended up doing 3. I was supposed to do 2, but I, cut a little time along the way.
And what was your impression of prison compared to the stuff you had been associated with before?
No more. I started out level 1, went to Jamestown, got into some stuff there, went to the hole, Chino. As soon as I got off the bus, got into it with a dude that was in the hole in Jamestown. And as soon as they found out I was a white Crip, they wanted me out of Chino.
Really?
Start a race ride, get him out of here.
Wow.
So they just throw me on down to Chuckawallas. Go to Chuckawalla, I get out there, and ended up getting into it with I got into it with a Compton Blood, then I got jumped by 3 Compton Crips.
Really? So, yeah, I was going to ask, like, was most of the disdain coming from the racist white dudes, or was there a similar reaction from some of the black gang members that were maybe confused about who you were?
Nah, I guess, you know what I'm saying, some people don't, you know what I'm saying, how the hell is this white boy, you know what I mean, doing this, you know what I mean, so, again, this is a lot of people look, you know what I'm saying, look down on San Diego because it's lesser, because Crip started in L.A., and, you know what I'm saying, I'm from San Diego, so we have, you know what I'm saying, our own thing in San Diego come together, and, you know what I'm saying, we will stand tall when it's needed. So, and that's why, when that was brought up, because I remember seeing that, it was like, we'll talk about Dago, and then it wasn't like nobody was talking about Dago. It was just, people talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm lost. I forgot.
No, we're just talking about, getting the negative reaction from like black gang members in prison.
For the most part, it happens. It happens. Some, you know what I'm saying, there's always somebody that ain't happy.
Yeah.
And that's everywhere. So, I had to deal with it. And it was situations where, like, it was one dude, he kind of like called me out, but I let it slide and pushed it off so that I didn't have to get into it with a brother, because I'm already going to have to get into it with these whites, and you know what I mean? I don't want that. And it's other situations where, you know what I mean, a dude, I was young and dumb, you know what I'm saying? And a dude seen me do something, and it was disrespectful to a blood, and he seen it. So he felt disrespected, so he wanted to fade. So we went and got down, and after that, we was cool, but, you know what I'm saying? He can't disrespect me, you know what I mean? And I feel him, you know what I mean? I was watching Ice Cube video, and, you know what I'm saying, started pulling the trigger, pointing at the TV when they showed some red, and he was behind me. I'm not,
Right.
I'm just, young, dumb.
That's a no-no.
Yeah.
In prison, I'm guessing, yeah.
You don't want to be, like you know what I'm saying, capping out your enemies or something.
Right, for sure.
So yeah, I would have felt disrespectful if I seen them do it. So same situation.
I know a white blood that when I think about it, it's like I've never heard people talk about him in a negative way. It always seems like there's a lot of pride in the fact that they got a white guy who's really with the shit, and he can fight. From what I know, I've seen him.
Yeah, well, most white boys, if you gang banging, I'm sure you
got to figure it out at some point. Yeah. No, yeah, because like every time I seen a video going viral from back in the day of him getting into a squabble with a black dude and whooping his ass, it's like the sense of pride from his side was just like, they appreciate it. Like they're. But then I also wonder if things don't go well for that guy, the level of scrutiny might be a lot worse.
Well, that's the thing. I remember growing up, like, you know what I'm saying, it was one time, it was an older homie, and I was young, and he didn't know me. So this was in the other side of my neighborhood. So I'm from 41. So 47 is where it started. You know what I'm saying? So I always hang out up here. Like in one of my videos, I talk about I confined myself to the hood because I was comfortable here, and I was known, and I was good. When I go out, that's when, you know what I'm saying, people looking at me funny, or, you know what I'm saying, I got to show off, or I got to, you know what I mean, put a demo down, let them know, because they don't know. And that's, it's always so. We was going to 47th, this spot called The Hole, and it was the older homie, and he, you know what I'm saying, came down, what you doing over here? Man, I'm from the neighborhood. He socked me, he was a grown man, I ran off. So the homies that I was with came back the next day, they whoop on me. But my auntie, the auntie that was the neighborhood auntie, like, nah, Dad, go get all of them. And made me fight them all one by one. It was 3 of them. So the first and second fight I won, but the third one I was tired. I lost that one. So we was cool again. So we gonna go back down there. That was the, where everything was happening at. We go down there again, and the dude was down there again. So okay, you know what I'm saying, I'm a fire on the dude. So the dude came up on me, and I fired on him. That was a mistake, because this was a big-ass grown man. And he whooped my ass all the way out the hole up a block, and then I ran. And then he chased me and then tripped me and then beat me some more. And then I went home and then came back a week later after I healed up. But then the homies was like, man, leave him alone.
Do some of these stories feel kind of innocent in a way because we live in an era where it's so much more likely for people to shoot each other in comparison to this time?
That's now, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, I remember when we used to go ride on the Bloods, I remember going to the spot 4-5 Park, and we were riding the homie ski body that's out there, whoever's out there, and we'll whoop on whoever's out there, and then more people be coming out the apartments, then we jumping in the truck trying to pop start to get us out of there and go back to the hood. So that was, you know what I'm saying, you know.
Like stories about fighting and shit seems, you know, to an average person seems dangerous, seems scary, seems like, you know, this is a bad situation. But then when you compare it to a lot of the gang situations that I see going on in LA, never mind Chicago, or even in New York City, et cetera, where it's just like, you know, people see someone they don't get along with and just immediately get to shooting at them. It's like, that seems kind of nice in comparison. Like that's what we should hope for in comparison.
We got a spot in San Diego called 40'S of Death. And it's in Southeast, but you know what I'm saying, you know, I was just, you know what I'm saying, coming from a female's house, you know, it was like late night, you know, but not like maybe 10, 11, and I'm coming across 40'S of Death, not even in my car. I'm in a partner's car because mine was broke down getting worked on. So I'm using this coming from a female house, and people pull up. I hear the duels, you know, so when I hear a car pulling up next to me, I turn and look, and all I see was a red beanie and a red sweatshirt in the passenger seat barrel. I slammed on the brakes. They lit up the whole front of the car. If I wouldn't have stopped, bullet, you know what I'm saying, hit in fender and up. If I wouldn't have stopped at that time, you know what I'm saying, it'd have got the door. That shit went right through this.
Holy shit.
So it's been like that for a while. This was, you know what I'm saying, you know, this was in like, 90.
So you do those 4 years. Was there anything super notable that happened during that time period? And where was your head at during that stage of your life? Was it just pure survival?
No, I was mad at the world. I was mad at the world. I was still trying to make a name. I wanted, you know what I'm saying, well, everything I wanted, I got. You know, I realize now, you know what I'm saying, I got a reputation. It ain't worse. But, you know what I'm saying, that's what I wanted. But that, you know what I'm saying, I used to think, man, I wasted my life. I didn't waste my life. I learned a lesson. You know what I mean? Because if you don't learn from a mistake, you know, you're forced to repeat it. And I didn't repeat it a bunch of them.
Right. But that whole concept that, like, your reputation or caring about having a tough reputation, that's like a waste. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is, how the would you have survived in some of these situations otherwise? Like, yeah, it would have been great if you had been able to just, you know, despite the circumstances you're from, clean up your act, go to college, become a lawyer, emerge from all this shit. But that would be to be totally ignorant to the situations that you were raised in that basically required for you to either defend yourself or have a reputation about yourself that would hopefully make it so you don't have to be defending yourself constantly.
Was that a question?
No, I'm just saying, do you look
And
back at, like,
it's so
that
long-winded
concept,
with
like,
his
on one hand, it
answers,
seems
bro.
like a
That's
waste
just wild.
to, like, you know, be concerned with your reputation so much. On the other hand, that's kind of just the environment you were born into. You didn't really have another choice, right?
Well, I think you always have choices, and I made the bed, so I had to, you know what I'm saying, you know, I had to ride it out. You know, you choose your path. You don't choose the, you know what I'm saying, you know, the bumps that are on that path.
For sure. So you do the 4 years, and then you come home, and what's your mind state at that point?
Paroled. My mom sent me clothes. I paroled with a blue rag, a blue Pendleton, some blue Dickies, and some blue Adidas. And my uncle came and got me and took me back to San Diego and dropped me off. I tried to stay with my parents and, you know, get my money because, you know what I'm saying, you know, I can't be there, so I need to pay for someplace else. I got me another place and did my little hustling and ended up staying out 7 months. And then I went down to Tijuana to Club XS, T94, and on the way back, got charged with assault with a deadly weapon.
Because you beat up this Navy dude, right? Yeah. And so what? He just talked some shit to you, and you just showed out.
The homies been drinking. I don't drink. Right?
Never.
We
Never got into it. Best thing you could do for your chances of success in life: don't ever start drinking. To me, that's like I could have spared myself so much grief if I had figured that out earlier. I never really liked drinking that much either, so I'm like, why did I put so much time into that?
Time you're brainwashed. Look at one sporting event, 15 minutes. Count how many alcohol commercials you see.
True.
Just in 15 minutes.
Right.
It's, you know what I'm saying? You know, like, I think the prison system is set up. You know, they have to have somebody to be the slaves, right?
Mm.
If you look at the numbers, you know what I mean? You know, that's what it is. It's modern day slavery. It's labor.
Yeah.
You providing jobs
It is.
for the pig.
It is crazy. I thought about that a million times. Is how it's just our society just decides that certain drugs are all right and the other drugs need to be.
Teen law.
Yeah.
When it was, you get caught in a white neighborhood with some powder,
Right.
it's a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
Same thing. You get caught with, and it got baking soda in it.
Right.
And now you know what I'm saying, you know, got mandatory sentencing.
Yeah. Yeah. And how it's just that's just an
But
accepted.
it's one of many. There's a lot of situations, you know, and like I said, I don't think the system is. I think something needs to be done. I was helping out with a group called All of Us or None. I try and volunteer with trying to do something. You know, I'm still trying to be a part of the C.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, because it feels like the gang positive ends in a ideal world.
Well, that's the thing. I think it's global. Look, it was on the is people claiming the fame, you know, and that's the thing. You know what I mean? You know, I don't know. I've been doing it a long time, and I think that was a waste. I wasted my time because I don't want to lead none of my little homies because I got homies that are younger than me. And if I give them any advice, this, you know what I'm saying?
And they're basically like, they're really running businesses selling like what are basically like, you're not on the Red Sox, but you can go buy a Red Sox t-shirt. It's like the same concept. I don't know who's buying this shit, but it's pretty crazy. And you can find it for all these different gangs and shit too. I'm like, this is a bizarre state of affairs that you can just go cop this shit on Amazon.
But then if you go back to, you know what I'm saying, you know, the crack epidemic, Freeway Rick, what's that, Moonfall, what was that?
What was his, Snowfall.
Snowfall.
Right, yeah. Nah, for sure. So, okay, you just get locked up again for this situation where you punch this Navy dude, and then all of a sudden you're just right back in the box?
No, it's worse because now it's level 4. So it's not, you know what I'm saying, Candyland no more.
Right.
So, you know, when I got to level 4, you know, one of my big homies, he told me, you know what I'm saying, you know, he was like, man, look, get you a knife, somebody comes, deal with it. So, you know, and I'm telling, you know, got moved from that yard to the other yard. And the homies that was there, I'm telling homies, look, as long as it's one-on-one, line them up, I'll take anybody. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? This is the way you raised me. You know what I mean? You know, I ain't taking nothing. And literally, one day I figured that was going to get me. It wasn't until years later at Donovan when I started seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I was just, you just going to remember my name. That's it. You just going to remember my name.
You thought you were going to die just because the knife shit was so big at that point?
I've seen some tough shit in there.
It's one thing when you're just fighting. It's a whole nother level when people are trying to kill each other. Yeah.
Like I said, you know, level 4 is a different beast. You know, level 3 is maximum security, but it's not maximum. You know, when you go to level 4, every cellie that I had a life sentence.
Really?
One cellie had 2 life sentences and then 42 years. It's like, damn, you got to die twice and then come back and give them another 44 years.
Jeez. And did you feel like it kind of affected your mentality on the whole thing because of the fact that, like, you're only in there for what? You had 8 years? 9 years?
I had 9 years. I didn't want to tell nobody.
Right.
Because there's people in there, like, literally, I knew a guy who would set shit up. He would leave a cup somewhere for somebody to mess with it. When you mess with it, now you owe. So you either pay or this, you know what I'm saying, you know, and he has nothing else to do.
Right. So it was just obvious to you that you're kind of surrounded by the worst of the worst, the people who've got nothing to lose in here and are willing to just come up with the most sadistic plots to just get some shit going.
That's the thing, you know what I'm saying, you know, because it was people that were in my face, whites. And everybody, the whole yard is telling me this dude is undercover AB. He's the one telling everybody to get you. But when I speak to him, that's not me, Joey. That's not me, Snow.
Was he just lying, or do you think everybody else was confused? Right.
He was, you know what I'm saying, he don't want, you don't ever want nobody to know, you know what I mean, and he was, you know what I'm saying, pulling the strings from the back. At the time, I didn't, you know what I'm saying, it was a lot.
So you were in a level 4 situation for those whole 9 years, or how much time did you end up doing?
4 years.
4 years, okay.
Level 4 for 4 years, and then they moved me to Donovan.
Okay. Okay.
I said, because of all the party favors. Literally one time in a male situation, I had something half pound of marijuana in it.
Right.
Not to me, but to someone else that I could get it and pick it up.
And so you were taking part in the weed as well, or you were just selling it?
No, well, I would bring in 4 ounces a week. 1 was for me and the homies. 3, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And, did that just make the whole thing like a lot easier? How are you smoking weed when you're in there? Because I've seen some pretty
smoke, and it was a lot of stuff. The cops, you got, you know what I'm saying? You got cops that let shit slide. You got cops that know what's going on. You got cops that assist.
Right.
But you got to know which ones are which, because they're not going to tell on each other. Mm-hmm. But you know what I'm saying? If one wants to bring something in, hey, I'm fishing. I stay. Don't let me hook you.
All right. Would you say that the average CO in those situations is closer to being like as f***ed up as a street dude or a gangster, or closer to being a choir boy?
No, the
choir boys don't last too long in there. It's not a job you would really want to have if you were a choir boy, right?
Well, no. See, that brings up a bad situation. Oh man, it's a kind of sick story, but you know what I'm saying. There was a priest in Donovan who got caught. You know what I'm saying, sucking somebody up in the chapel, inmate.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, these priests, man. What the?
Yay.
That's crazy. Okay. Usually I don't appreciate when I'm watching like a prison channel and the interviewer seems like he's got a little bit too much of an obsession with the gay shit. But did you witness a lot of that going on?
There.
Yeah.
There. So you have to, you know what I'm saying, I'm cool, you know what I'm saying, but hey, it's out there. And I'd like, you know what I'm saying, I swear it was a famous homosexual, we call him a Saguni, right? And the Saguni did laundry. So, you know what I'm saying, I'll pay you to do my laundry. I'll give you some weed, you know what I'm saying, you wash my sweats. The punk gave me my sweats back with creases in them. Sweatpants with creases in them.
That's odd.
Yeah. But, you know what I'm saying, my visiting shirts and stuff like that, they, you know what I'm saying, crease them up, extra, you know what I mean, get your shoes, got somebody that shines boots, and, you know what I mean, so you go out there looking your best.
What does that do to you mentally when there's a guy that you respect who seems like he's a G, and then you find out he's out here other inmates? Is it like hard to still look at them the same way, or?
No, you grown. That's your business. As long as you keep that business over there.
Right.
Hey.
Give me a percentage. What percentage of guys who are like doing life end up with that shit?
Well, that's the thing. See, when I was in level 4, you know what I'm saying, I had my homie, you know what I'm saying, and he was like, man, you know what I'm saying, never say never, because, you know what I'm saying, he got life. And now, you know what I'm saying, he's stuck. He ain't never going to get out. He's out now.
Right.
He's got out. But, you know what I'm saying, this was back then when we was going through it, and he's like, man, never say never. I ain't done it yet, but I'm, you know what I mean, it's been 8 years, and, you know what I mean? He thinks about it. I'm like, shit, okay, that's just, hey.
Yeah, that's
I had a punk hit on me. You know what I'm saying? It was a black punk named Alistair Goon.
Alistair Goon or
Alice the Goon?
Alice the Goon. Okay.
From Popeye.
Okay. I do remember watching a lot of Popeye as a kid.
Yeah,
but
Alice the Goon.
Oh, Alice was the girl, right?
Well, no, that was Olive Oil.
Oh, Olive Oil, right there.
The Goon, Alice the Goon was a big old, you know what I'm saying, ugly girl.
Okay, I kind of remember that. Yeah.
So Alice the Goon used to do people's hair. I kept my hair braided. I was bald from here, but I had hair around here. And my thing was, look, if there's a riot, don't hit the white boy with braids, because I always had braids in my hair. But it was a joke, because the homie was like, man, cut that shit off. You know what I mean? Calling me Hulk Hogan and shit. He hate that shit.
Oh, man, that's funny. But, yeah, I've heard people throw out numbers that like 90% of dudes who are in there for long stretches will end up doing that. I can't imagine 90. 90 sounds crazy.
I don't think so, because if you go to like I was on GP and not the S and Y part, so the S and Y is like over, you know what I'm saying, run with I guess he, she's, or whatever.
Right.
And they talk, you know what I'm saying, I guess that you have to go in the cell with, you know what I'm saying, you know, whoever they put you in with, and it's a lot of stuff. I don't know how that goes, but when I was in there, we was GP. We wasn't having it, you know, you know, and like I remember one time, you know what I mean, the young homies, you know what I'm saying, boo bop one of the other homies because he was messing with one of the punks.
Right.
You gotta go. We don't get down like that.
Right.
So, you know what I mean, you know, that's this, if you're active, you know what I'm saying, you know, I don't want, you know what I'm saying, you know, we out here sharing some pruno or something. I don't want to share with you. I don't know what you I don't know what you just did up in the cell with that dude.
Okay, but the craziest shit that I heard, I did an interview recently with this, it's a woman to man transsexual named Buddha G from Chicago, a GD from out there. And so she's been on, or he's been on testosterone for a number of years now. Full beard, everything. Do you, whatever you want to do, go ahead. But he's describing how while they were locked up, I know this is confusing, I'm saying he, but then they were locked up in a women's prison. But basically said that like some serial killer was like locked up in the same prison, a dude. And at one point he decides, I want to become a woman, so he's able to, he gets on estrogen, and they're basically like giving him all the shit that would make him less of a man and make him more like a woman. They put him in the woman's prison, and then I can't even remember the details, but he ends up doing something, some kind of crazy rape, assault, whatever it is, to one of the women in there. And this person who is part of that community, to whatever extent, told me that that is a real thing that actually happens in that prison, is that men are getting put into the women's prison just by getting on hormone. But I mean, this seems like it should not be happening. Like like the president needs to stop this.
Hey, I know that, because that's the thing. I've seen, like, you know what I'm saying, other races. Okay, I remember my first time in county jail. This was old county jail. This was like my first offense was an armed robbery. So I was in a medical tank because I broke my hand, and then I went up to the other tank after it healed up, and it was on the 5th floor, and there was a Hispanic homosexual in the tank. Oh man, you know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know nothing, you know what I'm saying? You know, so I'm on my bunk at night, and then they got the back area tinted up. You know what I mean? You know, that's the area. Every 10, 15 minutes, the punk is going to the bathroom, brushing his teeth, and back to the tent area. Go back, take a shower, back to the tent area. Oh man, I'm like, damn, that's crazy. I'm like, we just got here. This county jail. You've been in here a few days.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, oh, hey, each to his own, but that freaked me out, because I'm like, wow. I had never seen it. You know, this was, you know, I've been through juvenile, and it wasn't like that in juvenile. So now here I am in adult, and it's like, oh, hell no. But it's crazy, man. It was, hey, that was,
Yes. Wow.
To help save for our home, we stopped going on trips and giving each other expensive gifts. We handmade them instead.
Whatever. Okay, so was that those 8 years or whatever, was that the end of it? Because you said you did multiple decades in there. I feel like there has to be another stretch in there.
No, I got out, and then that's the thing. I got to a drug program because I didn't have no place to go and nothing when I got out after the 12 years. So I got in a drug program in a place called the Harlan House. And it was, I had no place to go. I needed a place to live. So they would give me a place to live, and I got to pay rent. It's cheap. Take and you're gonna feed me?
Right.
What? Oh, you're gonna help me get a job too? Okay.
And did you really feel like you had a drug problem at that point, or not so much? You were around while you were locked up, but
Stop.
oh, okay.
No, you know what I'm saying? I got out. It's like I just did 12 years. Parole from the hole. My last 8 months, I was in the hole because some people dropped kites and said they were going to stab me. So to put me in the hole to avoid, they said I was a threat to.
Why would they want to stab you? Oh, just for that?
Yeah, well, I went up north. When I left Donovan, you know, I left Donovan and went to CMC and San Luis Obispo, and then there was another dude, I ended up getting into it with San Diego Bloods.
Right.
Riot. And then they sent me to Soledad, and then I ended up stayed in Soledad and then got put into the hole, did my last 8 months in the hole, parole from the hole.
Right.
So I didn't have no place, no pre-release, no preparation, no nothing after 12 years. So mentally I'm out.
Right.
And I got out and I went, found a place and got in and started working on.
Right. And I mean, were you fully committed at that time to rebuilding and creating a life in which you would be able to, you know, steer clear of all the bad shit that you had been associated with before?
Well, that's what I was trying to do. You know, I got sober. I was, you know what I'm saying, I'm all legit. So this is my thing now. I'm all legit. Still a hustler.
Right.
I mean, you know, it's just got to be a legit hustle. So at the time, I was going to the police auction and buying car stereo equipment that somebody that was breaking into cars got caught with. And I buy it for pennies on a dollar and then take it out to the Lolos and Sunday night where everybody hangs out at. And, you know what I'm saying, you know, one thing, word got around and now everybody knows Snow got stereo equipment for sale. One time I get pulled over and the police know me. You know, I stand out. So they jack me. I got a trunk full of stereo equipment. Oh, you're breaking into cars
Okay,
again,
then.
huh?
It
I'm
is
like,
not
well,
that
my
funny.
wallet, I got a receipt. I bought all that from you.
Yeah.
You know, she's legit.
They feel like they were impressed.
Oh, no, they wasn't happy. They wasn't happy. They knew, you know what I'm saying, they were trying to catch me.
Right. Wow, that's crazy. So how long ago was that, when your last day in prison?
Day after Christmas.
2016. Okay, so you've been free for
Bro,
about
why is all
8
these
years
niggas
now?
on the floor, bro?
Wow, that's amazing.
That's like, this is the best, you know what I'm saying, you know, man.
Now that you have a much more normal life, is it hard for a lot of the people that you're around to understand your background?
Nah, it's the company that I work for, they know about it. They know, they've helped me work through a lot of the stuff, you know, from in the beginning when I was in a drug program and on parole and I had to leave early and my parole officer came to the job. I think parole officers, I think they don't want you to win because then they don't have job security. Don't you?
Right.
So, you know what I mean? They made it hard. They tried to twist me and get me in trouble one time with my boss when I didn't even do anything. And it was like, I told my boss, it was like, it ain't gonna work.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
nigga.
Because, all right,
Shit.
I had an experience a couple years back where, because I
What else
originally
do you
come from
want?
like the BMX bike community, and we did a
I just
jam
wanted
at
to
a
clean
skate
this
park. A
because
couple
the
hundred
other
kids
thing
come. At one point, one of the dads walks up to me and starts asking
Just
me some
clean it. Just
questions
do it
about
and just
my
use the
brand
paper
and
towel to,
whatever we
dry
had
it.
going on this day. And as I'm talking to him, he's got a full face of tattoos, and I'm talking to him, and slowly I'm starting to start to put it together, like, oh, you got a bunch of Nazi shit all over your face, 88s and like weird little whatever. And I'm not super knowledgeable about this world, but I'm starting to piece it together. And it's like, I realized as I was thinking about it afterwards, because I'm kind of thinking, part of me is like, should I tell this guy to get the fuck out of the skate park? Because it's like, okay, if it was a guy wearing a shirt with a big swastika on it, I feel like it's fair to be like, yo, you got to get the fuck out of here. Because it's like, you got a bunch of kids here. Why should they have to look at it? There's probably some Jewish kids over here. They you know, they don't need this memory. I don't want this kid's parents to think that this is like what this community is about or whatever. And I'm thinking about it afterwards. I'm like, it's almost certainly a part of his prison past. You know, it's like kind of like the reality is that if you see a guy who has that shit on his face, it's almost certainly from prison. And it doesn't seem like most of those guys keep that ethos as they get back into the real world, right? From my perspective, that's pretty unlikely.
What, keeping them?
getting out of prison as a white guy and still going around claiming to be a
What'd you
Nazi
say?
or whatever. Although I'm sure he has to deal
Oh
with
no,
this
it's good.
idea constantly.
Oh, they're out there. They got a whole bunch of. They got a whole bunch of
Right.
have meetings and get-togethers and all. You know, I think the system is I think the system is set up for us to fail. You know, and I'm talking about the black and brown community. This is all a design. Is this part of the Matrix?
I don't know. But okay, if you see a Nazi out in public, do you look at them like a op, or did you back then and do you now?
Oh, I still have issues.
Right.
I can't be in crowds. If too many people, I have panic attacks. What, too many white people?
Really?
I try to go to a football game. I'm out of here.
You don't feel like a white guy in that environment, even though the average person would look at you like just a regular dude.
I feel like me, but that's the thing. Like I said, I've been stabbed 13 times, and most of them have always come from behind.
Really?
So I have issues with, hold on, So it's something I deal with every day.
Right here.
I see people and it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying, and it'll be a white dude and he won't even know, I'm just, out fishing or something, and you know what I'm saying, But then once you talk to me, it's like, where are you from?
Right.
And everybody tells me I'm from the South, and born and raised San Diego. I ain't never been nowhere.
Right. Wow, that is crazy. But from your perspective, has there been any close calls over the years where you felt tempted to get back into a more old school way of life, or is it like long in the past?
The old school way is automatic with me.
Really?
I'm trying to train myself not to. I have to think about things 2 or 3 times before I act, because my first mind is the wrong way. My first mind, oh, he got something I want, go take it.
Really?
And like, you know what I'm saying, I done seen a few of your shows. Like, I don't watch a lot of YouTube, but you know what I'm saying, I was watching, and you know what I'm saying, all these people up in there with all this trunk jewelry. People look like a meal. I'm hungry.
Oh man.
And that's the way I came up. So
I couldn't imagine robbing one of my
Yeah,
guests.
a little hot around there.
A grimier version, of me would be like, oh,
I'm just saying, that's how my mind.
around to do it.
That's how my mind automatically. That's the first thing my mind thinks of.
Yeah.
Because that's where that was home.
Right.
It's just that's not home no more.
I already have rappers accusing me of setting me up to basically like run into people they don't want to run into or shit like that, even though I go massively out of my way to avoid situations like that, and you still will get kind of people coming up with conspiracy theories about it from time to time.
Yeah, well, I heard you like controversy. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That sells, right?
For sure, controversy is good for business, but I also think people think that I'm like playing these dudes like chess pieces and like trying to create shit like that,
Hey,
when in
can you use some water?
reality, it really just finds us.
But-
Like, we just have a bunch of hosts. They're
Come
kinda
on, now
controversial,
don't be
and
acting
it's
like
also
because you on the
this is a
phone
big
with
enough
somebody.
platform that when you come on here, if you're consistently on this platform,
Babe,
it's just going to cause a lot of
put the
smaller
weed down.
YouTubers to basically like try to poke holes in your persona and try to figure out if you really are what you
Yeah.
say you are, and try to find any little
Nipsey,
detail.
yeah, this
about
isn't
anything you've
because
done in
since
the
I'm
past to try to,
reacting
throw some
to
dirt
somebody
on the
that's
game.
this is his
I almost feel
neighborhood.
bad when I put somebody on
Huh?
the team, because it's like,
I'm not reacting.
yeah,
I'm just
going
listening
forward, I
to
probably
this
would give
shit.
them, like,
Niggas
a warning
don't want to go to no
speech
jumper. They go
basically
to
be like,
mine
listen,
and look
the
at
amount of scrutiny you're going to
Let's
be
fuck
under
no
now,
jumper.
you got to have your program in order, because you got to know that people are going to
Hey,
be on
you-
your ass.
babe,
trying to
you can look
paint
at me. I'm
as
on
the
TikTok
worst
too right
version of
now.
yourself for content, and
Let's see.
that might lose me some potential hosts if I actually do that. I don't know, but it's not what I want for them, but it feels like it quite often works out that way.
You have a lot of people working for you. I was just looking. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm like I said, I'm new to this, so I'm just in awe of, you know what I'm saying? You guys, you know what I'm saying, got a lot going on.
It used to be a lot more, and as time goes by, I find that I've realized that managing a big-ass crew of people, in particular a crew of people who, in large part, don't really, like, have a lot of
Nobody
prior
watching me, though.
experience in business or being part of a team, etc. It's like, it just creates a headache. It's just way too much to deal with. And in particular, like, when you're talking about like LA dudes who know enough about hip hop that they could be on a podcast and be interesting and entertaining and shit. From our perspective, it's usually going to be dudes who are gang affiliated. And this just opens up Pandora's box of bullshit of just having, you know, people coming in and seeing each other and, you know, me realizing like, oh, just because they're both Crips doesn't mean that they're going to get along at all. And they actually have all kinds of drama. Even if it's not
that was
between
trash.
them, it's going to be people casting judgment from the outside. And, you know, these dudes are getting calls over and over and over from people that are basically trying to convince them that they were disrespected. And it could be a lot to deal with. And at a certain point, for me, it's kind of like, oh, shit. Like, I mean, is this really worth it?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with Spider-Lo.
Spider-Lo. Good man.
Yeah, I thought, you know what I'm saying, he was, because, you know what I'm saying, man, hey, that was one of my favorite songs, Blues for the World.
Yeah, classic. No, I love Spider-Lo. He kind of got swept up in like a big overhaul that we did here where we had a ton of people doing content.
Come on, let me get
channel.
that.
And at one point, I was just kind of like, you know what? I'm getting rid of all this shit, and we're just going to focus on having a couple shows per week, plus the
I
interviews.
should have got red carpet for that.
Spider-Lo, he's a good guy, though. Yeah, he's out here. He's living his truth. Okay, so, yeah, what is life all about at this point for Snow Rocc?
Like I said, I'm just trying to live life. I got like projects I'm working on. I got a friend of mine who passed a couple of years ago, and I kind of inherited his lowrider. So
really
holding it, I'm gonna play with it for a couple of years, and then give it to his daughter because her mom is a drug addict. Can't give her nothing.
That's dope. What got you into doing content and being on YouTube and everything like that? Was there a documentary about you first, or did you do like an interview first that led to the documentaries coming out? Or
nah, I've been trying to get the story out. I'm working on a book. I just don't know what I'm doing. I need somebody. You know, I'm figuring I'm gonna have to pay somebody to help me because I don't know how to do it. I just don't have the financials right now. So, but that's my plan, is to have somebody write it for me, and I give you the. Get down. I got some stuff that I wrote when I was in on my last term, and it was like 6 months I was just sitting around, you know, and I was just every chance I get, you know, you got a lot of time on your hands, so it's like 200 pages front and back, and it's only like 6 months of my life or something. So, you know, but it's I'm gonna try and get that out, and I'm trying to get somebody to do a real like autobiography about the story, because I plan on doing it in like 3 stories, because like it's the Snow Rocc story, the White Boy Joey story, and the story that's evolving.
Right. Definitely. Do you has it been weird doing these interviews and seeing these documentaries, and all of a sudden you got all these comments, and a lot of these people don't know you? They probably are trying to poke holes in whatever you're saying about yourself and shit like that. I can imagine for you as being like a real dude out in the streets for so long that it's got to be kind of weird to have to see the comment section from a bunch of people that don't necessarily know as much about your world as you do.
Yeah, it was really weird because a lot of people, you know, you know, I was surprised on how positive, you know, most of the feedback was. It was like 95% of the stuff was all positive. Then you got somebody, oh, he's lying, he's, you know, and this and that, and then it's funny because one guy said something negative, and somebody else chimed in. He was like, man, look, I'm a white dude. I was in prison with Snow Rocc. What he said? He said, they told me I gotta go stab that dude. I told him that I'm a plumber now. Fuck prison. And it's like, damn, you know, because it's a lot of stories where people get on that were in prison with me or were there, and you know what I'm saying, you know, speak up and tell. I'm not, you know what I'm saying, I'm not blowing smoke up nobody's butt. I don't brag about the stuff I did. I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying, I'm not the toughest, I'm not the baddest. You know,
is your perspective on the streets and gangbanging, I feel like dudes either come away from it with like one of two attitudes. Number one being like,
I ain't gonna hold you. I done been shit on this.
They wish they had never been exposed to it, etc. And then on the other hand, you'll have guys who, despite whatever bullshit it might have got them in, they just have so much respect and love for the culture that they could never really try to separate from it. Which one do you fall?
Yeah, I bet I had a red carpet, bro.
I'm always be from the hood. Where you from? I'm from the hood. So I'm always be from the hood.
Yeah.
I don't bang no
Hell
more.
yeah,
I'm not,
nigga.
I mean, you know, I'm an old man. Like I said, leave me the fuck alone.
Right.
But, you know what I'm saying, you know, I still go to, you know what I'm saying, you know, some of the hood day functions and I for my homies and, you know what I mean, you know, I'm out in the streets. I'm not hard to find.
Is it of particular interest for you when you see, because there's been like a couple different rappers slash characters coming out of LA that are representing the Rolling 40s over the last couple months. We got guys like X4, 4 Extras, there's a dude Dodie 6 who just got out of jail, he did like 6 years or something. Are you paying attention to that shit in particular?
Nah, every now and then I tap in. You know, I got his homeboy Iron Mun.
No.
I don't know if you know who that is.
No.
He from 40'S. You know what I'm saying? We did time together. You know what I mean? You know, it's a bunch of people that I did time with from LA. You know what I mean? That know me. I'm not, you know, I'm not bragging. You know what I'm saying? I don't be putting this out there, but I was a shot caller for the San Diego.
Right.
You know, and that's like not. You know what I'm saying? No, how the hell's a white boy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so. And I'm not bragging and, you know what I mean, you know, trying to.
Right. That's
Damn,
probably a
the
good sign that
audio
you're not
so
bragging
messed
about it,
up,
but it
that
also
shit
says a
crazy.
lot about how confident you are in your resume.
I work too hard. And that's the thing, like I said, I wanted a reputation. You know, I got it.
Sounds like you're
Like I said, I used to think it wasn't worth nothing, but it taught me, you know what I'm saying, if I'm willing to do the work it takes, I can do anything.
If I got you and 4 Extras in the same room, that would be some crazy content. That I've never met anybody who's quite a ball of energy like that dude.
Okay, that's the thing. I'm slow and old. I seen another one of your videos. You was talking like Ice Poseidon or
Ice Poseidon? That's a random one for you to click on.
well, I was just going through different.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I see now when he was talking about damn, I forgot how he put it. I'm lost. I can't remember.
I can't imagine what the fuck you would have took interest in from an Ice Poseidon interview, but that's interesting.
Well, what he was talking about, how he was getting swatted.
Oh, yeah.
All this craziness. I'm like, man, that's way too much. I don't want to deal with all that.
For sure, his story is like one that would make you never want to get famous or get any kind of internet attention, because his fans, they made, but he was doing a unique version of like content creation where he would be on live stream and he would just go out in public, and his fans were so toxic that, and there's a lot of fan bases that are like this, but you know, he goes to some random restaurant. The fans, they see the sign as he's walking into the restaurant, so they figure out the phone number. They start calling the restaurant saying like, hey, skinny white guy, purple hair.
What's
yeah,
up,
he's got a
son?
bomb. He's a child rapist. He's a whatever. Like everything under the sun, every bad thing you could ever think of. All of a sudden, on the
Yeah,
stage, you
good
see the
job.
owner come up and say, "Sir, you're gonna have to leave." That's the fun for the audience, is to watch this shit happen. But then it gets more serious too, because they're calling him bomb threats to the cops, crazy shit. And like with him, it was even worse, because he got like a huge mansion like in California, up in the valley somewhere, for him to shoot content out of.
Yeah,
So I was kicked out of there, and he's out of there in 2 weeks. Yeah,
I
and
be
he had to
wondering
move
what
to
you be
Texas to
saying
come
in the
out.
beginning
He
of
took like
your
a year
thing,
off
yeah.
of streaming just to sort of like try to get the
Good job,
toxic
son.
element out of his chat and stuff. That was I learned a lot from watching his life story and realized like, oh, you do not want to turn your life into a absolute war zone for content. It's not worth it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I'm small time. I'm at home, just, you know what I'm saying, running my.
Definitely.
And that's the thing. But I got, you know what I'm saying, I got other stuff, like I got imagination. You know what I mean? You know, like when I was a kid at juvenile camp, we used to play Dungeons and Dragons, but it wasn't Dungeons and Dragons. I've never even played the real game.
Right.
But in juvenile camp and in Donovan in prison, I played. But you know what I'm saying, it was a game we created. Just basically the dungeon master comes up with a little land and a story, and we, you know what I'm saying, have a paper character, and we go and battle or do whatever, get high and steal shit and do crazy. We're kids, you know what I'm saying, you know, so we're just killing time, telling stories and shit. But my imagination, you know what I mean, you know, I think, you know what I'm saying, you know, I got something.
Fuck.
I just don't have the time.
Okay, then close
I
it.
work
What are you
10-hour
doing?
days, 50-hour weeks, kill me.
And when you're, you know, when you're locked up or whatever, your mind has so much room to wander and to think like, oh, I could do this, I could do this, I could write this book. And then you get back to the real world and there's so many options and things to do. I'm like that even when I go on vacation. My mind starts going, crazy and thinking, I'm going to write a book about this. I'm going to make a 10-hour video about this. I'm going to get into this. And then you get back to the real world and it's like, oh, right, I put all my time and energy into like my business and my family, and I don't really have a lot of mental bandwidth for anything else. Yeah.
No, my favorite thing, you know what I'm saying, is seeing the country. Like me and the wife, we've been exploring. I've been, you know what I'm saying, I got an uncle in South Dakota. I done been out there a couple times. Wife's family reunion in Texas. I went out there. Oh man, that was the best trip because we took the train out there, then rented an RV, stayed in the RV at the family reunion. Then after that, went up to the biggest river in Texas and parked right on the river and did some fishing, and then rode the train back home. So that was a cool little vacation trip.
No, that's dope.
But I want to see the country. You know what I mean? Give me a RV or a trailer.
Yeah.
Fixing to go.
I love the city, and I've always been just so drawn to that, but there's something about being in a very serene environment where it's quiet and you can see the stars. Ooh, that's nice too. Went to Wyoming for this Kanye listening party back in like 2018, and I get off this plane and just the fresh air hitting my lungs was just like the craziest feeling I'd ever felt. Like, oh, this is just, maybe I need to get the out of LA. Yeah.
Maybe. That's the thing. I love San Diego. I love California. You can't beat it. You know what I'm saying? My sister, all my family left. My sister, she went up to Washington. She ended up getting 20 acres of land in the middle of boonies.
Right.
But it's 20 miles just on a dirt road to get to her property.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? I ended up going up there when my mom was in the hospital. It was nice. It was a nice place to visit. And I ain't never experienced 7 degrees in my life.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, this is warm. Usually it's in the minus.
Oh, holy shit. Yeah, I mean, California has the greatest combination of like nature. The ocean being right there is a big deal. You got to appreciate that. Then also business. The fact that, Hollywood's right there, that there's all these movies being made, TV, etc. So there's a lot of money to be made at the same time. And having it be so close. So you could, if you had the money to live in Malibu, and then you could drive 45 minutes and be at your job and then be able to kind of like retreat back to the ocean or whatever. It's like Southern California has a lot going for it that is very difficult when you think about the rest of the world. Very hard to find all those pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah, my favorite part, San Diego, like, you know what I'm saying, I got 2 daughters, and when they were younger, we would go up to the snow. And my family, we did this when I was a kid, and we would just drive up the freeway until you had to have chains on.
Yeah.
And then pull over on the side of the road, throw it on top of the car, have a snowball fight, build a snowman, and then drive home and watch it fall off the back as we go home.
Yeah.
But you can go from the snow to the beach.
No, yeah, it's incredible, really. That's why when people talk about leaving, it's like, man, I grew up in Hampshire. I don't know if I want to leave ever. Like, I've been to a bunch of places that are, more like paradise. You go to Hawaii. Beautiful. But I see how people who live in Hawaii are, where they feel isolated and they feel like they're just trapped on this little island. And it's, I don't get that feeling out here. I could hop in the car and drive any direction besides west. And I could be in a neighborhood. Yeah. There's just like so much to do out here. Yeah. Yo, I appreciate your time so much. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you if they'd like to reach out?
Standing Tall with Snow Rocc is my YouTube channel.
Okay.
My email, I'm seeing this on there, all my information. Anybody want to holler, hit me up.
Hell yeah. It's a very inspiring story, man. Appreciate you sharing it with us.
Appreciate you bringing me into the big time.
Oh, hey, I look forward to seeing what happens to you from here, and for sure, let's exchange numbers if you want to go on some more podcasts and stuff. I know some people would probably be interested. Appreciate your time, man. Thanks so much.
That shit hard.
Snow Rocc, big ass meaty palms on them. No jumper, coolest.
This nigga always gotta say some gay ass shit.
Your health is your big
interview. I ain't gonna hold you. Let's see what the comments had to say.
time short. Put your head down and secure the target.
Archangel's up.
Fuck.
The enemy's planted the bomb. You're the last one standing. Finish the job.
Flag down.
Fuck.
No time for moping. We have more work to do. Search and destroy. We have our orders. See it through.
Operating RCXD.
Bomb going down.
I was in a car accident a little over 4 months ago. Thank goodness the accident wasn't that bad, but I ended up totaling.
Oh my God!
Hey, them was some big ass Russian wild boars.
Oh,
Ate his ass up.
They had the screams playing on the speaker to pump them up.
Yeah,
nigga, like
yeah.
nigga,
Chewed that nigga face.
Hannibal was one of Hannibal. We never be talking about Hannibal as one of the top movies. Nigga, Hannibal's up there, nigga.
Shit, that nigga.
Silence of the Lambs.
He's one of the top actors, bro.
Oh, Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins.
That's
why he had
one-
to play Thor.
That's one person.
Oh,
He's
I
definitely
fucking
one of
hate this.
Denzel and Anthony Hopkins. If I say the name on the movie, I watch that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Even
for
if it's
sure.
like one of them off-brand.
Yeah, you
I'm
like
still check it
like,
out.
Oh shit! I got
So I just saw some shit with Denzel playing
Man, that
the
shit
role
off.
in
I'm done.
this Gladiator. Oh my God.